I believe that the integration of information technology in education will be further accelerated and that online education will eventually become an integral component of a school education. Everything that we do in our daily lives is evolving every day. Some people still vote in favor of traditional learning because they believe it's more effective. However, online education is exploding in popularity. The convenience of learning while relaxing at home using a computer is like a dream for most students. In various fields and sectors, the 21st century has seen a revolution. Without a doubt, the technology sector has grown the most. The recent pandemic and year-long home quarantine have forced everyone to seek a better alternative to physical and traditional learning methods. In the last few years, online learning has grown the most because it's clever and convenient, and many people believe it's more effective. Online education is growing in popularity every day. I'm also one of those who believes that online education is the way of the future. Internship-based education, I believe, will soon supplant all forms of traditional education. Although traditional education has certain advantages, online education should be encouraged for three main reasons, including time, flexibility, affordability, and accessibility. In addition to all these benefits, online schools are way cheaper than traditional schools. Under conventional school programs, the students are a prerequisite to paying for textbooks, transportation, and other institutional facilities. Online education more or less only charges tuition fees along with a few other obligatory charges. It enables both impecunious and opulent students to have equal learning opportunities. Advantages of online learning. Many believe that online learning will soon take over all traditional forms of education. Nowadays, almost everyone has access to the internet and technological gadgets and becoming cleverer and cheaper. With all of this happening, it seems that my argument in favor of online education seems to be more realistic than ever. It's much more convenient. You can take online classes from the comfort of your own home. That means you won't have to get up early, take the bus, or travel long distances. You don't even have to put on formals to attend an online class. It's less costly. Getting an education from home means you don't have to wear formals or uniforms every day. You don't even have to pay for textbooks or library services. Online education enables you to only pay for tuition and a few obligatory expenses such as books and internet access. It's less time consuming. Instead of traveling miles to reach and return from your educational campuses, you save 2 to 3 hours by attending online lectures. Online education enables you to attend live lectures in minutes. It only takes 3 to 5 minutes to begin learning. Disadvantages of online learning. Inability to focus on screens. One of the most difficult aspects of online learning for many students is the inability to focus on a screen for a long periods of time. Students are more likely to be easily distracted by social media or other websites when they learn online. As a result, Teachers must keep their online classes crisp, engaging, and interactive in order to keep students focused on the lesson. Online classes are prone to technical issues. Another major issue with online classes is the lack of internet access. While internet penetration has increased by leaps and bounds in recent years, maintaining a consistent connection with adequate speed remains a challenge in smaller cities and towns. There can be a lack of continuity in learning for children if students or teachers do not have access to the internet on a regular basis. This has a negative impact on the educational process. Manage screen time. Many parents are concerned about the health risk of their children spending so much time staring at a screen. One of the most serious concerns and disadvantages of online learning is the increase in the screen time. Excessive screen time can cause a variety of physical problems such as poor posture and headaches. Students may develop bad posture and other physical problems as a result of sitting hunched in front of a screen. Finally, having access to the best possible education has become an essential part of human life. Individuals who require higher education can achieve their goals by using online learning, which is helpful, less expensive, and more convenient option. While there are some disadvantages to virtual learning, the quality of education provided is nearly identical to that provided in traditional classrooms. I believe that the advantages of online education outweigh those of other forms of education. Based on the arguments presented above, I believe that online learning is the most effective method of obtaining a good education. The great aim of education is not knowledge, but action. Education is a very important part of our life and no one can deny importance of education in this era. No matter what happens, people should continue to learn. We all know higher education is the key to success. In today's time, one must have some form of education in order to prosper in the workforce. There are many options for higher learning. Students should decide which option would best fit their schedules. Face-to-face learning grants more organization and more hands-on instruction. People are confused when they have to choose mode of education, but I think that face-to-face education is best type of education because effectiveness of online education is still unclear and people do not prefer online education. There are majority of things that can only be learned by face-to-face education because face-to-face education can make practical sense. In face-to-face education, the only medium present is the communication between sender and the receiver. For thousands of years, face-to-face education was the mode of education until online education was introduced. It is true that nowadays, online education is commonly offered in educational programs. But technology does not always facilitate the right type or good quality of information that is being exchanged or shared. This means that learning potential can be limited. Face-to-face education is the best type of education. Even in group learning, it is not easy for the students to ignore the teacher, and even if they are not listening to the teacher, they can learn something from that group. Interaction is the main element that is present in face-to-face education, and socialism is also increasing. While learning in groups, students gain confidence to present their ideas openly at that time. Answers to the questions of the students are also gained at the time of group discussion. I believe that face-to-face learning is better than online learning because students have access to various learning resources on campus versus off. Face-to-face allows students to have instant gratification with answer and help. When a student is in class, they can ask questions while it is fresh on their minds or help with a particular problem. If the student was at home online, they would have to wait for the instructor to email them back. Advantages of face-to-face learning. Concentrate better. Teachers can easily manage the class and strictly enforce classroom rules in a traditional classroom setting, which is much more difficult in virtual classes. This allows students to concentrate on class discussions while avoiding distractions from other students. Teachers in face-to-face classes can easily spot students who are engrossed in their phones or otherwise distracted. More information through body language and voice. In virtual classes, students can only see the upper bodies of their classmates that fit within the frame of the camera. Some kids even turn off their cameras. Teachers and classmates are unable to see their facial expressions or body language as a result of this. Unlike in physical classes, learners can recognize their classmates' body language and unaltered voices, which allows them to determine if their classmate has more information to share or if they are uncomfortable. Better understanding and real-world examples. Most teachers will attest that children learn better in physical education classes. This is due to the real-world examples that the students can discuss or share. Teachers and students can participate in class for a longer period of time and have enough time to clarify any process to the teachers because physical classes are 20 minutes longer than online classes. Disadvantages of face-to-face learning. Increased transportation expenses. The daily commute was cheaper the year before the pandemic, but with COVID, the cost has nearly doubled. Since last year, public transportation has cut its passenger capacity in half, affecting fares, despite the fact that almost all businesses have returned to normal operations. Adjustments to these fares appear to be taking time. If face-to-face classes are reinstated during this pandemic, their fares will be higher than before. Physical classes do not allow for flexible learning. Face-to-face classes, unlike online and modular distance learning, are time-bound, which means students must adhere to a strict schedule every day. Online classes, on the other hand, have only 4 to 5 hours per day of synchronous classes and offline activities, which students can do at any time of day unless the teachers set a deadline due to the guidelines of healthy screen time. Time-bound classes. Physical education classes follow a daily schedule that lasts 8 hours. Because each subject has a limited amount of time, children should stick to a strict schedule to complete the day's activities. This is exhausting when compared to online classes, where students spend 3 to 4 hours per day, followed by asynchronous classes that are sometimes flexible. In the end, I would like to say that the pros and cons to both types of education, but face-to-face education is the most reliable and superior mode of education. In face-to-face education, students take social advantage of social interaction with other people who are from different backgrounds and have different cultures. Face-to-face education and learning in groups is the best type of education with good quality. This is the traditional type of education that has a practical sense. Other types of education do not match the quality of online education. There are so many advantages of face-to-face education that are discussed, and these advantages cannot be denied. No matter how fast this era is, people have to spend their time getting an education in groups. Online education and the degrees obtained through online education have no value. Proper and good education is very important for all of us. It facilitates quality learning all through life among people of any age group, caste, creed, religion, and region. It is the process of achieving knowledge, values, skills, beliefs, and moral habits. People need to get a high level of awareness about the importance of knowledge more than before. Education is very necessary for each and every one in order to improve their knowledge, way of living, as well as their social and economic status throughout life. Getting a proper education is the bright right of everyone, which is why it is a crime. Education is the ultimate way to get victory over all your personal and social problems. Education is important to all of us as it plays a very important role in our lives. In order to live a better and more peaceful life, we need to be educated. It transforms us completely from the inside out by changing our minds and personalities as well as improving our confidence level. It changes our lives completely as it is constructive in nature.